almost 15 years ago, about the same time of the year, when the monsoons were at their peak. Monsoons that particular year was of such intensity, and we were sitting in the same place. The building looks more stable. Things happened in that little hut which was precariously holding itself up, threatening to collapse any time. Too many things happened. When I say too many things are always happening. Too many things are always happening. Too many things have always been happening in the world and in the jungle, on the plains and on the mountains. Too many things have always been happening. So this whole phenomena of life of such variety and such exuberance, if you have a little closer look at the smaller creatures on this planet, you cannot believe what has gone into making those tiny little creatures of every shape, size, color, design. Unbelievable volume of detail. Almost unending variety of detail. This whole process of life the life that you can see and the life that you cannot see, too much is happening. It is all happening with such precision that it looks like it's all happening by itself. The exactness with which all dimensions of cosmos are performing right now, the animate and the inanimate. It looks like they're all by themselves. Once a month, I get an order from the publication department Signed Alexander. I'm sorry, Alexandra. So I can't ignore. Sadhguru, it's time to write a poem. We need a poem for forest flower. We need it in the next 12 hours, 15 hours, 24 hours. Usually that's how it comes. So, I haven't failed them, but I have been not on time many times. So, this is known as the cosmic dancer. The title is Cosmic Dancer. There is no dance without a dancer. There is no dance without a dancer. The dancer is not felt in a dance perfect. The dancer is not felt in a dance perfect. The perfection of the dance dissolves the dancer into the dance. The perfection of the dance dissolves the dancer into the dance. Reveling in the dance, one may miss the dancer. Reveling in the dance, one may miss the dancer. Absolute attention to the dance will bring forth the effulgent dancer. Absolute attention to the dance will bring forth the effulgent dancer. Only in knowing the dancer, all the dance is revealed. Only in knowing the dancer, all the dance is revealed. The speed, the rhythm and the flight are just the dancer's flight. The speed, the rhythm and the flight are just the dancer's sleight. So, the dance is so perfect, we almost forget the dancer. But there can be no dance without a dancer. We cannot see the dancer because our vision, our attention becomes so surface-oriented. To identify the dancer in the dance, either you must get immersed in the dance, that you also become the dance, that you are not a spectator, you are it. Then you know the dancer by experience, you're touched by it. But if you not want to know the dancer in its full depth, in his full depth and dimension, you want to know the source of dance, that which is the basis of the act, then you must be able to pay absolute attention. In a way, staying away from the dance. These things look contradictory. On one level I'm saying you must plunge into the dance. Another level I'm saying you must be able to watch the dance with utmost intensity. This is not contradictory because you know the world is round. Nothing contradicts anything. It is just that when you look at it, fragmented, if you cut it down into pieces and look at it, everything seems to be contradictory. So, if you are here totally involved in the dance, totally involved in the act itself, that's one way of knowing. Or if you know how to keep away from the act, absolutely uninvolved in the act, but you're able to observe the act totally, you can decipher the difference between the act and the actor, the dance and the dancer. That is also a way of knowing it. The second takes much more awareness, sharpness, intensity, maybe training too. So it's easier to become part of the dance slowly as the rhythm picks up. As you get sucked into it, you suck deeper and deeper into it. One day you don't know which is you and which is the dance. Once you are a part of the dance, you cannot miss the presence of the dancer. It is just that we're inventing obstructions, hurdles and barriers where they don't exist. Recently, when I was in a satsang in Ceylon, someone asked, I'm 54 years of age. He thinks that's a long time. And I have seen so many spiritual teachers, but I have never been drawn to anybody like you. I'm helplessly being drawn towards you. What is it that you got? So I said, I don't have anything that you don't have. It is just that all of us were given a seed that had the possibility of boundlessness. You are a very careful man. You are very careful and good, so you preserve the seed. I destroyed the seed and made it into a tree. If you want to make a seed into a tree, the seed has to go. If you nurture the seed, it will become a tree. If you keep seed as a seed and walk around, it's stupid actually, but it is not. Preserving yourself is considered smart. Allowing yourself to be demolished, to destroy the limited possibility of what an individual person is not considered smart. To be exclusive and to be preserved is considered smart. So after all, you're a smart man. So smart, you even conned life. Too smart. On a certain day, Shankaran Pillai himself decided to visit the yoga center. Being who he is, he was received properly, and our Swami Vibhu took him on a tour and put him up in the first floor of the Chitra block because it has the best view. You know that? Chitra block, first floor, has the best view in the whole of the ashram. So, Swami pointed at the mountains and said, we're putting you up here because of who you are and because this place has the best view. Shankaran Pillai looked at it and said, yes, sure, this place would have had the best view if only the mountains were not obstructing. These people are doing to themselves. You don't understand, mountain is the view. You think mountain is in the way. So the spiritual process is not just about doing this or that. It is many things. So once you become like this, there is no possibility of you being part of any act. You can neither be aware and just watch it, because that takes a different kind of dispassion, nor can you jump into it and become a part of it. Once it happened, Abe Maxwell met a painter whose name was Volkowitz, and Volkowitz was 73 years of age and just recently had been through an eye surgery. So he said, "You just been through an eye surgery. How is your vision? Is it good enough to paint? Can you continue to be a painter? Without sharp vision, this is difficult." So Volkowitz said, "I think I can paint. In case I find my vision fails and I cannot paint, I will become a critic." You can become an art critic if you can't see anything. So if you become a critic, you miss the whole act. Either you be a painter or you be a lover of art. If you're a critic, you miss the whole point. You'll know neither this nor that. And this keeps happening all the time. Self-appointed critics simply waste their lives. I forget his name. One great literary critic said this, "I have seen statues and portraits of authors, poets, artists, but never of a critic." Because you're a parasite like life. You don't have a life of your own. You thrive constantly looking and feeding on somebody else's life. This will not get you anywhere. If you're seeking survival, you can be a parasite. If you're seeking liberation, you cannot be a parasite. A child sucks upon her mother's breast, but you don't call a babe a parasite. That is okay, because a child is only nourishing himself to become free of the mother. A parasite is never intending to become free. A parasite is too concerned about its survival that it misses the possibility. So if survival is all we seek, there are many ways to survive. I won't teach you those ways, you should learn it on the street. If liberation is what you seek, only then I'm meaningful to you. only then it's worth hanging around. Only then it's worth being part of a mad act like this. If survival is what you're seeking, it's just a wrong place, because it doesn't work that way. Now, all of us have come with the same seed. But for this seed to become a tree, though every seed has come with the same possibility, between a seed and a tree, there is a journey to be made. If you want the seed to become a tree, you have to nurture it. You have to protect it. There are weeds that you have to take care of. There are too many weeds. Same silly weeds bothering humanity for 1,000,000 years. Still human beings haven't figured out how to handle these weeds. Simple things like anger, hatred, jealousy, fear, doubt, endless doubt. The same silly weeds have lasted too long because weeds don't need any nurturing. Weeds don't need any protection. Weeds don't need any cultivation, they just grow. But if you want a sacred seed to sprout and prosper, you have to weed the place, cultivate the land, manure it, and you have to make sure enough water and sunlight finds its way. If you're afraid of the harshness of the sunlight and avoid it, you will also avoid the life-nourishing warmth of the sunlight. In your enslavement to the instinct of self-preservation, you would like to avoid the sunlight, go stand in a shade, but you will miss the warmth of the life-nourishing light too. That which is the basis of life is also that which ends life. That which burns also bakes. If you're a good cook, you bake. If you're a bad one, you burn. It's a very simple but subtle operation. Baking bread, very simple thing. It's a subtle operation. One who knows does it effortlessly. One who doesn't burns it up and makes it into cakes. Or he produces coal. Carbon is very good, you know. It's the basis of life on this planet. So making this work, it's very simple if you give in to the whole process. It's very hard if you resist and struggle with the simple process that is set forth. I have been talking about this in the past. When people come here, some people come as investigators. Slowly, they become students. Gradually, they become disciples. All this is fine, but if you want to be absorbed and you want to travel fast, you must become a devotee, otherwise it won't work. It takes a long time. And nobody can make you a devotee. There is no teaching. There is teaching as to how to make you into a good disciple. There is teaching as to how to make you into a good student. And of course, there is training as to how to make you into a good investigator. But there is no teaching or training as to how to make you into a good devotee. Stand like this, say that, that will not make you into a devotee. By doing this act or that act, by uttering these words or those words, you will not become a devotee. If you allow yourself to become a process, if you allow yourself to become part of the dance, then somewhere when the source of the dance touches you, then you naturally become one. There is no other way to be. Yesterday someone was telling me, there have been moments when in the presence of the dhyana linga, I saw the whole universe. But with you, I have seen nothing. That's good. Isn't it good enough that you have seen it with dhyana linga? At least somewhere you saw something. Is that not good enough? No. There's something here. I carried dhyana linga within myself like a pregnant woman for 3 lifetimes. To be pregnant for 3 lifetimes is tough, you know. Yes. Those of you who have done it for 9 months, you know it's tough. By 9th month, you're just waiting, when is he going to be out? Being pregnant for 3 lifetimes, it's such a big one. Not easy. So, don't waste your time. By constantly going through the same nonsense that human beings have gone through for 1,000,000 years, the same nonsense. It's time to do some new nonsense at least, something new. Same nonsense. This moment it is true, next moment it is not true, this moment it is great, next moment it is not great. I thought you're wonderful, but you're terrible. This moment, oh, this is it, next moment, doubt. Don't do this to yourself, because at least if it was some unique nonsense you were doing, it's fine. This is the same stupid nonsense people have done forever. Do something new and show me. Show me some new weeds at least. If you don't show me a fabulous crop, at least show me some new weeds. There are no new weeds, people have done it all. It's a very simple process. This damn weed growing business is a very simple process. Any fool can do it. You think you're doing it more intelligently than somebody else. There is no such thing. No, my doubt is not like that. My doubt is the same nonsense. Don't think it's more intelligent. Now, I don't know anything about all this. I do not know what is making all this happen. All I know is, this much has worked for me. My back pain went away. All right, let's start from that. Something as mundane as back pain. And when you had the back pain, it was not a simple thing. Now that it's gone, it's a simple thing. When you had it, it was not a simple thing. It ruled your life, the back pain. Now that it is gone, why argue and waste your time? If you want to learn how to swim, you lie down in your bed and practice every day. Slowly, slowly, slowly you learn swimming. You'll never learn swimming. You have to jump into the water and somehow thrash it out. What if I drown? Don't you see nobody has drowned till now? Isn't that good enough proof? Don't you see the pools of water that we create? People can't drown, even if you go in, it pushes you out. And don't you see that I'm not going to let anybody drown here and get into trouble? At least you trust that, if not anything else. There is no other way to swim. You have to jump into the water. No, can I hold on to a float? Can I do this? Okay, do that, take your time. But without getting into the water, how? It cannot work. So, every day, when we say sadhana, 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 sadhana is not just about the practice. To give you a simple sadhana, a 21-minute practice maybe right now, for the earlier ones maybe 35-minute practice. To give you a 21-minute practice, we are spending almost 40 to 45 hours with you. To give that old 35-minute practice, or actually it was 15-minute shunya, to give you that 15-minute shunya, we spent over 60 hours with you. If all that was not important, why would we spend that time with you? So when we say sadhana, it includes all that. I gave you those 3 eyes. You forgotten? Not these. Instruction, integrity and intensity of purpose. If you just maintain this, the whole process is towards taking you towards an all-inclusive state. Not because that is my idea, not because that is my desire for you, because that is the nature of the Creator. And the seed of the Creator is within, and it will not rest. It will not give you a moment of rest in your life till it finds its original nature. Don't you have any hopes about knowing what peace is, knowing what bliss is, without allowing Him to have His way? Don't you have any such stupid hope? You will never know a moment of rest in your life. You will never know a moment of peace in your life. You will never know a moment of absolute ease in your life till you allow Him to find His way. Otherwise, He will not let you rest, never.
Sadhguru, when you say everything in existence is just energy, from the gross to the subtle, it suggests a completely impersonal reality. Does the realm of the personal, all its love, its poetry, its lunacy, its rage, its beauty, mean nothing at all ultimately? Does that mean there is no connection at all between the psychological and the existential?
So someone is really very dearly attached to all the things around them. I don't want to destroy it. If you love your life so much, why should I take it away? I don't want to take it away. But unfortunately, death will. I am not death, I am just a reminder. I am not the angel of death, I am just reminding you, anyway it's going to happen, it's better to be aware that it's going to happen. All these things that you're talking about, what are those things? Your love, your…
It's love, it's poetry, it's lunacy.
Particularly lunacy. Love, if I talk about it, I'll become unpopular. Poetry, maybe that's okay because not many people read poetry. Lunacy, I cannot touch that because that is a universal phenomenon. So what is there left for me? Is there anything more?
It's rage, it's beauty.
Okay, maybe there's some things we can talk about. Rage, not everybody has rage because it takes a lot of energy to be in rage. Someone said this, probably Che Guevara. You heard of Che? You might not have heard of him, but most probably you've seen his picture because lots of young people have his picture on their t-shirts, almost everywhere on the planet. These days people don't know who he is, they think he's a rock star or something. He wasn't, he was a revolutionary who became a phenomena at a certain time in the 70s and 80s. He became a great phenomena around the world. But somehow those t-shirts are still selling. Even today, everywhere, Che Guevara's t-shirts are continuing to selling all over the planet. So Che said, if you're outraged, you're with us. So someone who is a fan of Che went on repeating this to me. Then I said, oh, that's what Che said, but please listen what I have to say. If you're out of rage, you're with me. Now, you even get attached to all the things you suffer, that's the problem. Your lunacy is not something that you enjoy. If it's on a mild scale, you think it is giving you an extra dimension of character. When your lunacy is on a mild scale, you think it's giving you a little freakish character, it enhances you. Because otherwise nobody would notice you. Now because of your lunacy, people are noticing you, taking note of you. There are a lot of people, that's the only way they can get attention. Lunacy has its benefits. When you play it on a mild scale, if it picks up momentum, then you had it. Once it picks up momentum, then you really had it, because that becomes… the ultimate suffering on the planet is mental illness, if you do not know this. If you become lunatic, if you lose this is the ultimate suffering. We always thought that if one becomes mad, there is no suffering. It is not true. The deepest form of suffering happens to you when you become mentally ill. All forms of suffering are actually different levels of mental illness, really. It's happening on mild scale. If it goes beyond a certain point, then it is called illness. It is just that small-scale lunacy you enjoy. Every day you go into it for 5 minutes and come back, you think it's giving you an added character. One day you went there and you could not come back, then people say, you're mad. No more an interesting character, you're mad. So all these things that you're talking about, your love, your poetry, your lunacy, your rage, all these things are just different manifestations of your mind, which you understand. That's why the question is the psychological completely divorced from the existential. You please tell me yourself. Look at your own psychological activity and see where is it coming from. The information that you have gathered may be partly existential, but everything that happens within you is purely psychological. And the information that you're gathering through the 5 senses today is scientifically proved it is not the way it really is. Nothing that you see, hear, smell, taste and touch is actually the way it is. Modern physics is out to do this, already it has done it in a big way. Modern neurosciences is completely demolishing your ideas of life, not dwelling upon the scientific part of it. Experientially, if you look at it, in your mind, every day you can create a new process if you're willing. You're actually doing this. Today you're in the ashram, it is a spiritual act. You go somewhere, it is another kind of act. You can do whatever you want with this, but the existential is just the way it is. Nothing has changed about it. Shankaran Pillai joined the medical college. It is a 5-year course, but because he was so thorough about everything, it was already 10 years and still they had not released him. Then one day he went to the library and looked at the anatomy book. The same anatomy book that people were studying 40, 50 years ago, the Gray's Anatomy, is still in vogue. So, he had read these 2, 3 anatomy books that were there because he's been there for 10 years. He went to the librarian and said, I'm fed up with this. Isn't there somebody writing something new? The librarian said, well, in the last 10 years you've been here, not a single bone has been added to the human system, so they haven't written anything new. Your mind, the psychological dimension of who you are, is constantly looking for variety and creating new things on a daily basis. It obviously has nothing to do with the existential, because the existential has always been the same. That is why the psychological decided something that is same all the time must be naturally boring. And that is why life has completely bypassed you. Right now, the question is coming because the only thing that is valuable in your life is your psychological process. You would not like to see that it is all rubbish. Definitely you would not like to see that it's all rubbish. So now the question arises, if you rubbish my lunacy, you must rubbish my love also. If you rubbish my rage, you must rubbish my devotion also. Yes, it is all rubbish. But right now that's all you have. So, at least create some wonderful kind of rubbish. Because you have to employ this if you want to go beyond. Does the psychological have anything to do with the existential? If it had anything to do, if it had anything at all to do, then it wouldn't be something that you gathered, it would have been a part of you. But right now, the whole psychological process is the gathered process. Does it mean to say that the psychological has no meaning? It has. It is just like we wear these clothes. One thing, it covers our body. Another thing, it can decorate us. Another thing, it can be a statement of who you are. A million other things you can do with these clothes. But also, if you don't wish, you can discard this right now. So I'm not saying only the psychological, even the physiological has nothing to do with the reality. So, the psychological, does it have any value at all? It's just like, does your clothes have any value at all? As long as you're alive, as long as you live in a society, it has a value and a meaning. The meaning is contextual, it all depends in what context you are. Here, what kind of clothing I'm wearing is meaningful. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in a desert, now whether I wear my clothes or do not wear my clothes has no meaning. So, the psychological is just like this, it has contextual meaning. If you want to be in a certain place, you need to maintain your psychology in a certain way, because it has no meaning if you let it flow all over the place, then they send you to a certain place. If you do not create a meaningful psychological process, somebody else will decide where you should be. So, in that context, it is important. I am not saying it has no value in your life. It is extremely valuable. What kind of psychological process you carry within yourself right now, in that context, your love, your poetry, I like both of them, but your lunacy, I think we could do without it. I could do without it. I see a lot of it every day. So, the psychological process is created by you. It is your creation. The existential is not your making. It is the Creator's creation. You enjoy the psychological, there is no problem. But if you get lost in the psychological, then you will completely miss the existential. If you get too enamored by your own creation, you will totally miss the Creator's creation. Are they connected? You cannot exist here without the psychological. The existential is not your doing, there's nothing to do about it, it's there. The psychological is your creation, so you can make it happen the way you want it. It can be 100% conscious process. You can have it or pull it back. You can throw it out or you can pull it back. Aren't you doing this all the time? Today you love this person, tomorrow it's all wrapped up and kept inside. Isn't this happening? So, your psychological, you can throw it out if you wish or roll it back if you want. And you can either have it going within yourself or you can just put it off. If you have the choice, if you really have kept the choice with yourself as to what happens in the sphere of the psychological is your conscious choice. Psychological is also a beautiful garden. If you have lost control over it, then you may call it love, you may call it poetry, you may call it rage, but it is just that one word which you said, it's just lunacy. Once it is no more a conscious process, it is just become a lunacy. So if your psychological process is in that state, then we call you a tick, a lunatic. Its connection with the existential is more as a stepping stone. It has nothing to do, but you can use the psychological either to go into lunacy or into freedom. You can use it to become absolutely compulsive or to become conscious. It is a device and it's your making. But especially because it's your making, you must make it the way you want, otherwise what's the point?
So being with someone is not about thinking about someone. Once you have made an attempt to be in a certain space, a certain possibility has become a live factor. It is no more a thought. There is a certain live possibility. A certain investment of energy has been made. Unfortunately, most of the spiritual process on the planet is just passing off as psychological exercises, where there is no investment of life, where there is no activation of life. It is all about thought and emotion. It will just go on as a psychological process. Psychological process means it is your creation. Yes? Is it your creation? If you get too involved in your own creation, you will miss the Creator's creation, obviously. That's all that's happening right now. Whether you're thinking about doom or Sadhguru or God or devil, it doesn't matter. If you get into too much of psychological process, it is your creation. If you get too enamored with your own creation, you will miss the Creator's creation, obviously. This is the only source of misery if you really look at it. This is the only source of confusion in people. Confusion is only in your mind, isn't it? Is there any confusion in the creation? There is no confusion in the creation. Confusion is only in the mind because you have attached too much importance to the psychological process. It is your creation. When your creation has gained so much significance, naturally you get removed, completely dislocated from the Creator's creation. That means from reality, you are moving into the hallucinatory. Whether the hallucination is about God or Guru or cinema or money or whatever, it doesn't matter what is the hallucination about. Whether it is a good hallucination or a bad hallucination, whether you are having a wonderful dream or a nightmare, they are the same, isn't it? You are getting entangled with the unreal. So being with me is not thinking about me, not emoting about me, simply being. Once you made this mistake of sitting in situations like this, you can live even now. Once you made the mistake of sitting in situations like this, if you can only be with me, there is no other way. If you think, you can think about anything. Whether you think about me or you think about something, it really is not of great consequence. Maybe in terms of paving the way, yes. Yes, it is. What you think about and what you feel about is where you naturally go. In that context, yes. But existentially, it doesn't mean anything. You're thinking about something, doesn't mean anything, because it has no existential substance to it. It is purely psychological. So, being here with me means, when I say be with me, how do you know how to be with me? The only way you know how to be is to see, to hear, to be focused. Now, for many of you over a period of time, it has happened to many of you that now if I say be with me, the first thing you do is close your eyes. It is happening. If I say just be with me, naturally there are many people who are just closing their eyes because suddenly it has changed. There was a time if I said be with me, they sat like this. Now, if I said be with me, they're closing their eyes. This you don't do consciously. Okay, now closing my eyes is superior to opening my eyes, it will not work that way. It is just that what you held as external has become internal. Naturally, you close your eyes. If it happens naturally, it's fine. If you pretend, it's a waste of life. The problem with spiritual processes is just this, that somebody did that, everybody wants to do that. By imitating that act, that will not happen. Now, Gautama sat like this absolutely still. You try to sit like this, it won't work. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, so you dance like him, it won't help. Somebody else worked all his life through, you do that, it won't help. There are many other mystics who did many freaky things. If you do it, it won't help. On a certain day, Adi Shankara was walking. You know, man walked all the way. Throughout his life he walked. By the time he was 32, he walked up and down this country, the length and breadth of this country 2 to 3 times. That means practically most of his life the man was walking. Yes. So once he was walking as usual, and his disciples were walking behind him. They were passing through a village and there was a shop which was selling arak, that is a locally brewed liquor. Adi Shankara just walked in, took a pot full of arak and just drank it up and walked out. Then the disciples were walking behind him and a discussion started among them. Our Guru is drinking, why are we missing out? He's drinking, that means it's a right thing. Yes. He himself is drinking means that's a right thing to do, isn't it? The next village came And all these guys ran into the arak shop and drank, and they were wobbling behind him. So Adi Shankara saw it in the rear view mirror. That his disciples had rubbery legs and they were walking wobbly. The next village when it came, he went to the blacksmith shop. There the blacksmith had molten iron. He just picked it up and drank it. And he just walked on. Now they all got straight. This they don't want to do. So just imitating an act is the main reason why you're unable to be. Right from your childhood, they have told you to emulate somebody else. This is the main reason why people can't be, Especially the press people, when they come, they ask, "Who is your role model?" I said, "What is that? I never heard of anything like that." What is a role model? No, who is your role model? That means whom do you imitate? Or who inspired you maybe, that's what they're asking. It's most important that your children grow up without a role model, especially not you. We always think we must set up a role model. If you set up a role model, there's a desperate effort to be something other than who you are. In this effort, this natural quality of being is completely lost in a human being. He's always desperately trying to be something other than what he is, which takes away his ability to simply be. Generally, this is a common question that keeps coming to me. Older generation of people who have desperately been trying to be spiritual. They went to all the Gita discourses, they heard the Vedanta, they heard many things. They believe they know all these things better than Krishna himself. But they come here and they look around and see, after some time, they realize these young people who don't know a damn thing about any spirituality are jumping and flying away. But they are just sitting and watching. This question comes to me any number of times. I have done so much. I have always wanted this in my life. Nothing is happening to me. I can see these young boys and girls, they don't know a damn thing, but they are flying away. What is it? This is all the problem is. You're desperately trying to be something other than who you are, which just destroys the very way you are. Role models you have. Too much imitation has gone into you. Imitation involves tremendous calculation, isn't it? Yes? Does it? If you want to imitate somebody, you can never imitate anybody totally. You want to improve upon your imitation too, isn't it? Yes? So imitation involves tremendous calculation. Once this calculation comes, you cannot be. One simple way of learning to be is, you just drop this one calculation. What can I get out of this satsang? You just drop that. You don't have to get anything. Okay? You don't have to benefit from this. Just waste half day and go. Really. What should I get out of my meditation? Nothing. Just wait 15-20 minutes every day, you waste it. Just wasting time, that's all. So do not meditate, do not do anything, just learn to waste some time. Nothing need to happen. This is not about resting, this is not about becoming healthy, this is not about becoming enlightened, this is not about reaching heaven. This is just wasting time. When you're not trying to be anything, not trying to get anywhere, you're being. You became too… in everything, you want to take something out of it. These are all modern terminologies. What is the takeaway from today's satsang? If you look for takeaway, you will only take petty things. The real thing will never come with you. If you want the real thing, stop the takeaway business. Simply be. Nothing need to happen. So because people do not have the necessary awareness to simply be, an alternative was suggested, which is, you just be in love, because this is one state where to some extent, I wouldn't say all the way, to some extent you can be without a takeaway. But that's not true generally. Even though you think you are in love with somebody, if they don't give what they're supposed to give, it'll all crack up, isn't it? Yes or no? Generally, a love affair is just a mutual benefit scheme, isn't it? Yes. You give me this, I'll give you that. If you don't give me that, I won't give you this. Yes or no? So all this talks about developing a deep sense of love or compassion, this, that, is only to this, is only towards this end. That is, you're taking away the expectation. What should I get is being removed by creating a strong sense of emotion towards somebody. Otherwise, mind is calculating, that's okay, why should I do this, what will I get? Just to remove that, that's all. Otherwise, by itself, it doesn't mean anything. So, no takeaway today. Is it okay? No takeaway, nothing to get, you won't get anything. So, is this the last satsang I will come to? Yes. Because if I don't get anything, what the hell am I doing here? See, that's the nature of your mind, please see. I'm not getting anything, so why should I go there? That's the whole thing. It is so simple. This one calculation if you drop in your life, what will I get? If you drop this calculation, 90% of the work is over. Understand? Another 10% will happen by itself. You know the snake and the ladder game? Many ladders, many snakes, up and down journeys will happen. But once you hit the last round, after that no more snakes. You just have to get one and one and one and one and one and you're there, isn't it? But no more snakes to eat you up. This is just like that. If you just drop this one calculation, what can I get? After that, no more snakes. It is just a question of time, you'll get there. Can we drop that calculation? In everything. In everything in your life. What can I get is dropped, means you will become really boundless and absolutely compassionate in your life. There is no other way. You just have to drop this one simple calculation, because that is the key to your whole mind and your mental process. That is the key to all the activity that's happening in the mind. It's all about what can I get, isn't it? You just pull the plug, it's over. Then being is just natural. How else to be? You're only being even now. You're missing your being because of too much psychological activity, isn't it? Yes? You can't try to be, it doesn't work. You just have to pull this one plug. What can I get? At least lower it. You can't pull it out totally. Just lower that and you will see you will be able to be.
Across the history of humanity, certain individuals have emerged whose influence extends beyond the boundaries of religion, politics, science, or culture. They inspire people not by asking them to follow a particular belief, but by encouraging them to explore the deeper dimensions of human existence. Their work often begins with a single question: can human beings live with greater awareness, responsibility, and harmony? Among such contemporary figures stands Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, widely known as Sadhguru, a yogi, author, speaker, and founder of Isha Foundation. Sadhguru has spent more than 4 decades sharing yogic practices while also advocating for ecological conservation and sustainable living. His work has reached millions of people through public talks, meditation programs, educational initiatives, and large-scale environmental campaigns. To his followers, he is a spiritual master who presents ancient yogic science in a language accessible to modern society. To many scientists, educators, entrepreneurs, and policymakers who engage with his work, he is an influential public speaker addressing issues of human well-being and environmental stewardship. Others have also raised questions and criticism regarding aspects of his public position and organization, reflecting the broad public attention to his work received. Regardless of perspective, there is a little doubt that Sadhguru has become one of the most recognized contemporary voices connecting inner well-being with care for natural world. Chapter 1 of Sadhguru Life: A Child Drawn to Nature. Every extraordinary journey begins with ordinary movement. Jagadish Vasudev was born in 3 September 1957 in Mysore, Karnataka, India. His father served as an ophthalmologist in the Indian Railway, and because of his father's profession, the family frequently moved to different towns across southern India. This relocation exposed the young Jagadish to diverse landscapes, cultures, and community. Unlike many children who are captivated primarily by toys or games, Jagadish found himself irresistibly drawn towards nature. Forest, river, rocky hills, and wildlife fascinated him. Hours disappeared as he quietly observed insects, birds, reptiles, and trees. This experience cultivated a sense of wonder that would later shape both his spiritual outlook and his environmental advocacy. Nature in many ways becomes his first classroom. He later reflected that spending time outdoors taught him to observe without judgment. Instead of viewing nature as something separate from humanity, he experienced it as a living system in which every element played a role. The appreciation of ecological interconnectedness became a recurring theme throughout his later teachings. His adventurous spirit has evident early in life. Friends remember him as fearless, independent, and endlessly curious. Whether climbing trees, exploring forest, or riding motorcycle through remote landscapes as a young adult, he sought direct experience rather than second-hand knowledge. This habit of observation became one of the defining characteristics in his personality. Rather than accepting ideas simply because they are widely believed, he preferred to investigate them for himself. The search beyond conventional success. As he grew older, Jagadish pursued higher education at University of Mysore. Like many young people, he explored different interests while searching for meaningful direction in life. Alongside his studies, he became involved in entrepreneurial ventures, establishing successful business in construction and poultry farming. By many conventional standards, he had achieved what society often defines as success. He was financially secure, independent, and respected as a capable businessman. Yet, success alone did not answer the deeper question that continued to occupy his mind. He wondered why many people are possessed wealth, status, or achievement often remain dissatisfied. Why did anxiety, conflict, and unhappiness persist even in society experiencing unprecedented technological advancement? Could there be a dimension of human well-being that material progress alone could not fulfill? These questions were not driven by dissatisfaction with his own life, but by an enduring curiosity about the nature of human existence. Unlike someone seeking escape from the worldly responsibilities, Jagdish immersed himself in life. He traveled widely, interacted with people from different backgrounds, and observed human behavior closely. These experiences strengthened his conviction that external accomplishments, while valuable, could not be themselves create lasting fulfillment. A transformative experience. One afternoon in September 1982, Jagdish rode his motorcycle to Chaumandi Hill overlooking Mysore. Sitting quietly on a large rock, he later described experiencing an overwhelming expansion of awareness. According to his own account, the ordinary sense of being a separate individual dissolved. The boundaries between himself and the surrounding world seems to disappear. Time appeared to lose its usual meaning, and what seems like only a few minutes turned out to have been several hours. Sadhguru has consistently described this event not as an act of belief or imagination, but as a profound shift in perception. For him, the experience became the foundation of everything that followed. He later explained that spirituality in his understanding is not about adopting doctrines or joining a religion. Rather, it is about exploring consciousness through direct personal experience. This distinction has remained central to his teachings. He frequently engages people not to accept ideas on faith alone, but to investigate their own inner experience through disciplined practice. Whether one interprets his account as a mystical realization, a transformative psychological event, or a deeply personal spiritual experience, it is marked as a decisive turning point in his life. Choosing a different life. Following this experience, Jagdish gradually withdrew from his business activities. Friends and family found his decision surprising. From the outside, he appeared to be giving up a prosperous career with no obvious replacement, yet from his perspective, the decision was natural. He later explained that after experiencing what he regarded as a profound sense of unity with life, accumulating personal success no longer felt like his primary purpose. Instead, he wished to explore and share the methods that had transformed his own perception. Rather than immediately establishing an institution, he began modestly. He traveled throughout southern India, offering small yoga classes to groups of interested participants. There were no elaborate facilities, sophisticated marketing campaign, or large audiences. Many sessions consisted of only a handful of people gathered in community hall or private homes. Despite this simplicity, these early programs attracted increasing attention because participants often reported noticeable changes in their physical health, emotional balance, and mental clarity. Word spread gradually, largely through personal recommendation rather than organized publicity. Yoga is an inner science. One of the Sadhguru's most distinctive contribution has been his presentation of yoga as a comprehensive inner science rather than merely a form of physical exercise. In many parts of the world, yoga is commonly associated with flexibility, posture, or stress reduction. Sadhguru presents a broader understanding rooted in traditional yogic philosophy. According to his teachings, yoga is a systematic process for aligning the body, mind, emotions, and energy so that the individual may experience greater awareness and balance. He often describes it as an inner technology, a practical methodology for transforming one's experience of life. This approach appeals to people from widely different culture, religious, and professional backgrounds because it emphasizes practice over belief. Participants are not required to adopt a particular faith or ideology. Instead, they are invited to engage with specific techniques and observe their own experiences. Through public talk, books, interview, and meditation program, Sadhguru has consistently argued that lasting solution to many social problems begins with individual transformation. A peaceful society, has suggested, is built by peaceful individuals. Environmental responsibility arises naturally when people experience a genuine connection with the living world. The seeds of a global vision. As the number of participants in his yoga program increased, a larger vision gradually emerged. Sadhguru envisioned an organization that would not only teach yoga but also contribute to education, healthcare, rural development, ecological restoration, and cultural preservation. The goal was to create practical initiatives through which inner well-being could be expressed as a social and environmental responsibility. This vision would eventually take shape as an Isha Foundation, a volunteer-driven non-profit organization that would grow from modest beginnings into an international movement with centers, programs, and outreach initiatives across many countries. The Foundation's guiding philosophy reflected the insight that had transformed its founder decades earlier, when human beings experience themselves as deeply connected with all life. Caring for people and the planet becomes a natural expression of that awareness. Building a spiritual movement, the rise of Isha Foundation. From single teacher to a global movement, the most enduring movement in history often begins quietly. They do not emerge from elaborate strategies or vast financial resources, but from an idea that resonates deeply with people. For people, Sadhguru, that idea was simple and transformative. Many human beings has the possibility of experiencing inner well-being through conscious living. During the early years of his teaching, Sadhguru traveled extensively across India, conducting yoga classes in cities, towns, and villages. These programs were practical rather than philosophical. Participants were encouraged to engage in yogic practices designed to improve physical health, emotional stability, and mental clarity. Instead of asking people to adopt a belief system, Sadhguru emphasized personal experiences. As more individuals completed this yoga program, many returned with stories of positive changes in their lives. Some described greater emotional balance, others improved physical vitality, and many reported a deeper sense of purpose. The growing interest created the need for permanent institutions that could preserve and expand these teachings. Thus began the journey of the Isha Foundation, formally established in 1992. The organization was founded as a non-profit volunteer-driven institution with the stated mission of supporting individual transformation through yoga, which also contributing to education, rural development, environmental restoration, and social well-being. What distinguished Isha Foundation from many organizations was its extensive reliance on volunteers. Thousands of people from diverse professions, including engineers, doctors, teachers, artists, entrepreneurs, and students, offered their time and skills without financial compensation, motivated by a shared commitment to Foundation's vision. The Isha Yoga Center, a place for inner exploration. As participants increased, the need for dedicated space became evident. This vision led to the creation of the Isha Yoga Center, located at the foothill of Pilangiri mountain in southern India. The location was chosen for its natural beauty and tranquil surroundings, dense forest, flowing streams, and the majestic backdrop of the mountain created an atmosphere that encourages reflection and meditation. Rather than just being designed merely as an educational campus, the center was envisioned as a place where individuals could temporarily step away from the pressure of daily life and focus on their inner growth. Over time, the Isha Yoga Center expanded to include meditative hall, residential facilities, educational space, and areas dedicated to traditional Indian art and culture. Visitors from around the world begin arriving to participate in the programs ranging from introductory yoga courses to intensive meditation retreats. The center also became a hub for research and dialogue on well-being, hosting discussion involving educators, business leaders, healthcare professionals, environmentalists, and scientists. While rooted in ancient yogic tradition, many of the conservation addresses modern challenges such as stress, mental health, sustainable development, and leadership. Dhanalinga, a space beyond belief. Among the most significant achievements associated with the Isha Yoga Center is the establishment of the Dhanalinga, a consecrated meditation space completed in 1999 after years of planning. Sadhguru has described the Dhanalinga as a unique meditative energy space intended for people of every background, regardless of religion, nationality, or philosophical belief. Unlike many places of worship that are associated with the specific ritual or tradition, visitors are encouraged simply to sit in silence. The architecture itself reflects this intention. The meditation hall, crowned by one of the world's largest freestanding brick domes, created an environment of remarkable stillness. There are no sermons, ceremonies, or mandatory practices. Silence becomes the primary teacher. For many visitors, the experience of sitting within the Dhanalinga is one of the deep introspection. Some describe profound calm, while others simply appreciate a rare opportunity to disconnect from the constant pace of modern life. Whether interpreted spiritually or psychologically, the space has become one of the defining symbols of Isha Foundation. Linga Bhairavi, celebrating the sacred feminine. Adjacent to the Dhyana Linga stands the Linga Bhairavi, a shrine dedicated to divine feminine. In Indian spiritual tradition, the feminine is most often understood not merely as gender but as a symbol of creativity, nurturing and transformative energy. Sadhguru has frequently spoken about the importance of balancing masculine and feminine qualities within individuals and societies. Visitors come to the shrine seeking strength, emotional support, or moment of gratitude. Traditional rituals are performed for those who choose to participate, while others simply observe or meditate quietly. Together, the Dhyanalinga and Linga Bhairavi reflect two complementary dimensions of Indian spiritual heritage: stillness and dynamic energy. Adiyogi, remembering the first yogi. Perhaps no visual symbol has become more closely associated with Sadhguru than the monumental Adiyogi Shiva statue unveiled in 2017. Standing 112 feet tall, the black steel bust depicts Adiyogi, traditionally regarded in yogic lore as the first yogi who transmitted the science of yoga to humanity. According to Sadhguru, the height of 112 feet symbolizes the 112 possible pathways through which a human being may attain spiritual realization, as described in yogic tradition. The statue quickly became an internationally recognized landmark. Thousands of visitors gathered each year for cultural programs, yoga events, and annual Mahashivratri celebration. Beyond its physical scale, the monument serves as a reminder of yoga's historical root and its relevance in the contemporary world. For many observers, the Adiyogi statue represents more than artistic achievement. It symbolizes humanity's enduring search for wisdom and self-knowledge, bringing ancient wisdom to modern audience. One reason for Sadhguru's global influence is his ability to communicate traditional yogic concepts in language that resonates with contemporary audiences. Rather than relying primarily on scriptural quotations, he often explains ideas using everyday examples drawn from psychology, biology, engineering, business, and daily life. This style has enabled him to engage with audience for beyond conventional spiritual circles. He has addressed students at universities, spoken with entrepreneurs and corporate leaders, participated in discussions with scientists and healthcare professionals, and appeared in international media platforms. His books, translated into numerous languages, explore themes such as inner well-being, relationships, leadership, death, and the nature of consciousness. Several of these works have appeared on international bestseller lists, introducing yogic philosophy to readers who might never attend a traditional spiritual program. Digital media has further expanded his reach. Through videos, podcasts, online courses, and social media, millions of people encounter his teaching each year. Short clips discussing meditation, stress, happiness, and environmental responsibility are widely shared across the world, especially among younger audience. Education and rural development. While spiritual education remains central to the Isha Foundation, its activities have extended into several areas of public service. The Isa Vidya Education Initiative was established to improve access to quality education for children in rural India. The program aims to combine academic learning with practical life skills, computer education, and personal development. Scholarship help people from economically disadvantaged background attend school. Similarly, the foundation has organized health camp, sanitation initiatives, and community development programs in rural India. This project often involves partnership with local communities and rely heavily on volunteer participation. Sadhguru has frequently argued that spirituality should not be confined to meditation hall. Instead, he believes that inner growth naturally expresses itself through compassionate action and service to society. A philosophy of inclusive spirituality. One of his distinguishing features of Sadhguru's approach is his emphasis on inclusivity. Participants in ISA program come from a wide range of religion, cultural, and national background. The practices are presented as voluntary method for personal exploration rather than requirements for adherence to a particular faith. He often states that spirituality is, as he understands it, is not about believing in something beyond oneself, but about becoming more aware of one's own experience, whether an individual identifies as religion, agnostic, or atheist. Sadhguru maintains that the possibility of inner transformation remains available. The inclusive approach has contributed significantly to the Foundation's international growth. By the early 21st century, what had begun as small yoga classes conducted as a few participants had evolved into one of the world's largest volunteer-driven organizations dedicated to yoga, well-being, and social outreach. Yet, even as the movement expanded globally, Sadhguru's attention increasingly turned towards another challenge, one that affected not only individual well-being but the future of humanity itself. He became convinced that humanity's environmental crisis was not merely an ecological issue, but a reflection of how disconnected people had become from the natural system that sustained life. This realization would inspire a series of ambitious campaigns that sought to restore rivers, revive forests, support farmers, and bring them urgent issue of soil degradation to the center of global conversation. Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, a journey of inner transformation and global environmental action, a voice for earth environmental leadership and global campaigns. When spirituality meets ecology. Throughout history, many spiritual traditions have regarded nature not as a resource to be exploited, but as a living system deserving respect. For Sadhguru, this understanding has become central to his public message. He has often argued that environmental destruction reflected a deeper human disconnection from a natural world. If people experience themselves as separate from nature, they may treat river, forest, and soil as an object of consumption, rather than as system that sustain life. This perspective gradually shaped one of the defining aspects of his public work. While continuing to teach yoga and meditation, Sadhguru increasingly turned his attention towards ecological restoration. His approach did not focus solely on protest or criticism. Instead, He emphasizes practical participation, encouraging citizens, governments, scientists, farmers, businessmen, and volunteers to work together on long-term environmental solutions. For him, caring for Earth was not separate from spirituality, it was a natural expression of awareness and responsibility. Project Green Hand Restoring Green Cover. One of the earliest large-scale environmental initiatives associated with Isha Foundation was Project Green Hands, launched in Tamil Nadu in 2004. At that time, rapid urbanization, expanding agriculture, and deforestation had significantly reduced tree cover in many regions of southern India. Soil erosion, declining biodiversity, and changing rainfall pattern were becoming increasingly visible concerns. Project Green Hands sought to address this challenge by promoting large-scale tree planting through community participation rather than relying solely on government agencies. The initiative encouraged schools, villages, businessmen, and volunteers to become active participation in restoring green landscape. Large nurseries were established to raise native saplings, and public awareness campaign highlighted the ecological importance of trees. Community members participated in plantation drives, often transforming the activity into a shared civic effort rather than an isolated environmental event. The campaign reported planting millions of trees over the years and contributed to greater public awareness of afforestation in Tamil Nadu. While the long-term ecological impact of the planting effort depends on survival rate, especially species selection and ongoing maintenance, Project Green Hands help bring environmental restoration into public conversation and inspired many people to participate directly in local conservation efforts. From local action to national conversation. As environmental issues become increasingly urgent, Sadhguru began speaking more fluently about the interconnectedness challenges facing India. He pointed to declining groundwater level, shrinking forest, loss of biodiversity, and the press on farmers by changing climatic conditions. Among these concerns, the condition of India's rivers stood out. Many rivers that had once supported agriculture, ecosystems, and civilization were experiencing reduced flow due to combination of factors including deforestation, groundwater depletion, urbanization, and changing rainfall pattern. Scientists and policy experts had long warned that river system required integrated watershed management and sustainable land use practice. Sadhguru believed that public awareness of the issue needed to grow beyond academic and governmental circle. This conviction led to one of the most visible public campaigns, Rally for Rivers, bringing water security into public discussion. In 2017, Sadhguru launched the Rally for River campaign, a nationwide public awareness initiative focused on the long-term health of India's river system. To draw attention to the issue, he undertook a motorcycle journey covering thousands of kilometers across multiple Indian states, meeting citizens, farmers, scientists, students, and policymakers along the way. The campaign encouraged people to express support for river conservation and generated widespread public engagement through events, discussions, and media coverage. According to the campaign organizers, millions of citizens participated by endorsing the initiative. One of the campaign's central proposals was to increase tree cover across riverbanks through agroforestry and ecological restoration. The idea was that healthier vegetation could improve water retention, reduce soil erosion, and contribute to more resilient river ecosystem when implemented alongside broader watershed management strategies. The campaign culminated in the submission of policy recommendation to the Government of India. While environmental policy involves many stakeholders and scientific consideration, Rally for Rivers succeeded in bringing the topic of river health into mainstream public discourse. Kaveri Calling, supporting farmers and landscapes. Building upon the Indian ideas developed during Rally for Rivers, Sadhguru and the Isha Foundation introduced Kaveri Calling in 2019. This initiative focused specifically on the Kaveri River Basin, which supports millions of people across Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The campaign promoted agroforestry, the integration of tree with agricultural crops as one possible approach to improving soil quality, increasing biodiversity, enhancing water retention, and providing additional sources of income for farmers. Unlike conventional afforestation projects that concentrate primarily on forest, agroforestry seek to combine environmental restoration with agricultural livelihood. Farmers who adopt appropriate tree species can potentially diversify their income while contributing to ecological resilience. The initiative involved partnership with agricultural experts, local communities, and participating farmers. It also emphasizes education, providing information on tree species, planting techniques, and long-term land management. Although the effectiveness of agroforestry varies depending on local conditions and implementation, the campaign helped stimulate broader discussion about sustainable agriculture and the relationship between healthy ecosystem and rural prosperity. Save Soil, a global movement. By the early 2020, Sadhguru expanded his environmental focus from rivers to the foundation of terrestrial life itself. Healthy soil supports food production, stores carbon, filters water, sustains biodiversity, and underpins many ecological processes. Scientists around the world have warned that land degradation, erosion, loss of organic matter, and unsustainable agricultural practice threaten the long-term productivity of soil in many regions. In response, Sadhguru launched the Save Soil movement, a global advocacy campaign intended to raise awareness of soil degradation and encourage policy aimed to improving soil health. To draw international attention to the issue, he undertook a solo motorcycle journey of approximately 30,000 kilometers across multiple countries. The journey included meeting with the head of government, ministers, scientists, business leaders, environmental experts, students, and citizens. Public event, media interview, and educational outreach highlighted the importance of maintaining organic content in agricultural soil, promoting regenerative practices, and supporting long-term sustainability. The campaign emphasizes that healthy soil is essential not only for agriculture but also for climate resilience, biodiversity, water cycle, and food security. While the movement itself advocates for increased attention of soil conservation, the adoption of specific policies remains the responsibility of governments, researchers, farmers, and other stakeholders. Its most significant contribution has been raising global awareness of an environmental issue that often receives less public attention than climate change or deforestation. The power of volunteer. One of the defining characteristics of Sadhguru's environmental initiative has been the role of volunteer. Across planting tree campaign, educational event, awareness drivers, and ecological projects, volunteers have organized local activities, coordinated logistics, engaged communities, and supported implementation. Many participants describe volunteering not simply as service to an organization but as an opportunity to contribute to environmental stewardship. This volunteer-driven approach reflects Sadhguru's broader philosophy that meaningful change begins with the individual responsibility rather than waiting extensively for government or institution to act. He encouraged ordinary citizens to participate in solutions within their own communities. A message for the future. In speeches delivered across the world, Sadhguru frequently reminded audience that humanity's future depends upon choices made today. Economic development, technological innovation, and environmental sustainability, he argues, should not be viewed as opposing goals. Instead, they must be pursued together. He often emphasizes that no generation truly owns the earth. Each generation receives the planet from those who came before and hold it in trust for those yet to come. Whether addressing students, business executives, policymakers, or farmers, his message remains remarkably consistent. Human well-being and ecological well-being are inseparable. A healthy society cannot exist without healthy ecosystem, and environmental responsibility becomes more sustainable when it arises from awareness rather than fear. For millions of people, this integration of spirituality and environmental action has become one of the defining features of Sadhguru's public life. A global voice for conscious living. Taking ancient wisdom to modern world. By beginning of 21st century, Sadhguru work had expanded far beyond the meditation hall of southern India. What had started as intimate yoga classes gradually evolved into an international movement that reached millions of people through books, lectures, digital media, educational initiatives, and global forums. Unlike many spiritual teachers whose work remained confined within traditional religious settings, Sadhguru chose to engage directly with the institutions shaping modern civilization. He addressed students at universities, entrepreneurs leading multinational corporations, scientists exploring the mysteries of consciousness, policymakers grappling with environmental challenges, and young people searching for meaning in the increasingly complex world. His message remained remarkably consistent, regardless of the audience. Whether speaking in a village community or at an international conference, he emphasizes that genuine changes begins with the individual human being. He argued possess an extraordinary capacity to shape both their inner experience and the society around them. Lasting solutions to conflicts, environmental degradation, and social division therefore require not only technological innovation but also deeper transformation of human consciousness. Speaking across continent, as invitations increased, Sadhguru begins traveling extensively throughout Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Africa and Australia. His public lectures attracted audience from widely different backgrounds including engineers, physicians, educators, artists, athletes, business executives and students. Unlike formal academic lectures, his talks often blended philosophy, humor, storytelling and practical advice. Questions from audience ranged from meditation and relationships to artificial intelligence, climate change, education, leadership and future of civilization. One characteristic that distinguished Sadhguru's public speaking was his ability to explain complex philosophical ideas through everyday experience. Rather than presenting spirituality as something mystical or inaccessible, he frequently used examples drawn from ordinary life. A conversation about stress might become an exploration of how human attention functions. A discussion about success could evolve from the reflection of happiness, purpose and responsibility. This style allowed audience with little previous exposure to yogic philosophy to engage with ideas that might otherwise have appeared distinct or unfamiliar. Yoga beyond physical exercise. Although yoga has become widely recognized around the world, it is often associated primarily with physical postures and fitness. Sadhguru consistently sought to broaden this understanding. He explained that the physical posture known as asanas represent only one aspect of much larger yogic tradition developed over thousands of years. According to his teaching, yoga is fundamentally a science of inner transformation, a systematic approach of creating harmony between body, mind, emotions and energy. He frequently described yoga as an inner engineering process, suggesting that just as engineers learn to optimize machine, individuals can learn to optimize their own internal experience. This perspective appealed to many people living in fast-paced urban environment who were searching for practical methods to improve concentration, emotional resilience and overall well-being. Thousands of participants from around the world began attending the Isha Yoga program, while millions more engaged through online courses and guided practice. Books that reached millions. Beyond public lectures, Sadhguru became a public prolific author. His books explore themes including meditation, consciousness, relationships, leadership, health, death, and the nature of human experience. Rather than presenting abstract philosophy, many of his teachings combine practical guidance with reflection drawn from yogic tradition. Several of his books have appeared on international bestseller lists and have been translated into numerous languages, allowing leaders to diverse cultures to engage with his ideas. Among the most widely known are Inner Engineering, which discusses inner well-being through yogic practices, and Karma, which examine the relationship between action, responsibility and personal transformation. His book Death and Inside Story explores traditional yogic perspectives on death and dying, encouraging readers to approach the subject with greater awareness rather than fear. These publications have helped introduce ancient concepts of contemporary readers in an accessible and conversational style. Engaging with global institutions. As Sadhguru's international profile grew, he was invited to participate in discussions hosted by governments, universities, environmental organizations, and business forums. He has spoken at international gatherings where topics included sustainability, education, mental health, leadership, economic development, and environmental responsibility. These appearances have enabled him to present yogic perspective alongside scientific, economic, and policy discussion. One recurring theme in his talk is the external progress alone cannot ensure human happiness. Technological advancement, he argues, should be accomplished by the cultivation of inner balance and ethical responsibility. Otherwise, the same intelligence that creates remarkable innovation may also contribute to conflict or environmental harm. His ability to bridge conversation between spirituality, science, and public policy has contributed to his reputation as a contemporary public intellectual as well as a spiritual teacher. Reaching the digital generation. The rise of digital media transformed the way spiritual teachings could be shared. The Sadhguru embraced this technological enthusiastically. Through videos, podcasts, online articles, and social media platforms, his idea reached audience far beyond those able to attend physical programs. Short discussions on anxiety, relationships, happiness, meditation, environmental responsibility, and leadership attract millions of viewers. Young audience in particular responded to this concise and conversational format of these videos rather than presenting lengthy sermons. Many recordings addressed practical questions and people encounter in everyday life. Digital platform also enable global participation in meditation event, question and answer session, and educational initiative, creating an international community connected across geographical boundaries. Leadership and human potential. While many people encountered Sadhguru through his spiritual program, others were introduced to his work through leadership and management discussion. Business organizations increasingly recognize that employee well-being, creativity, and emotional resilience influence long-term success. Sadhguru argued that leadership begins with self-mastery. According to his perspective, individuals who cannot manage their own thought and emotion will struggle to guide others effectively. He encouraged readers to cultivate clarity, balance, and inclusiveness rather than relying solely on authority or competition. This emphasizes on conscious leadership resonated with entrepreneurs and executives seeking approaches that integrated personal development and organizational success. Recognition and public influence. Over the year, Sadhguru has received numerous honors and recognition, acknowledging his contribution to spirituality, education, social service, and environmental awareness. Among the most notable is the Padma Vibhushan, India's second highest civilian award, presented in recognition of his contribution to spiritual life and public service. His environmental initiatives has also attracted international attention, particularly campaigns focused on rivers, tree planting, sustainable agriculture, and soil conservation. For many supporters, these organizations symbolizes that the growing appreciation of effort that combines inner transformation with practical action for society and the environment. Conclusion: a legacy of inner transformation and planetary responsibility is a journey of Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev unfold. It reveals more than the life of a spiritual teacher or environmental advocate. It tells the story of individual who sought to bridge out two realities that are often viewed separately: the transformation of human being and well-being of the planet. From his early years of exploring nature in southern India to the establishment of Isha Foundation, from introducing millions of yogic practices to leading campaigns such as Project Green and Rally for Rivers, Cavalry Calling and Save Soil, his work has consistently emphasized one central message: lasting change begins within the individual and extends outwards into society and nature. Throughout this essay, he has become evident that Sadhguru's philosophy is rooted in responsibility rather than ideology. His teaching encourages people to experience life consciously, cultivate inner balance, and recognize their interconnectedness with all living beings, whether through meditation, yoga, education, rural development, or environmental initiative. He has sought to inspire practical action rather than passive belief. His environmental campaign has brought global attention to important issues such as soil degradation, water conservation, afforestation, and sustainable agriculture, while his spiritual program has introduced countless people to methods intended to improve physical, mental, and emotional well-being. At the same time, a balanced understanding of Sadhguru's public life also recognizes that, like many influential global figures, his work has attracted discussion, debates, and criticism. Evaluating his contribution requires considering both the aspiration of his initiative and the ongoing public conversation surrounding them. Such dialogues is a natural part of assessing the impact of widely recognized public movement and reflect the importance of examining evidence, multiple perspective, and long-term outcome. Regardless of different viewpoint, Sadhguru's influence on contemporary discussion about yoga, consciousness, leadership, and environmental responsibility is significant. His ability to communicate ancient yogic wisdom in language accessible to modern audience has enabled people from diverse cultures, professionals, and belief systems to engage with ideas that encourage self-reflection and personal growth. His emphasis on volunteerism has been demonstrated how collective action can mobilize communities around shared social and ecological goals. Perhaps the most enduring aspect of Sadhguru's work is his initiative for individuals to become active participants in shaping their own life and their future of the earth. He often reminds audience that humanity's greatest resource is not technology or wealth, but human consciousness itself. When people become more aware of their thought, actions, and relationship with the natural world, compassion and responsibility can arise naturally. In this view, protecting river, restoring forest, preserving healthy soil, and nurturing human well-being are not separate missions but interconnected expressions of the same understanding. As humanity faces the challenge of climate change, biodiversity loss, resource depletion, and increasing social complexity, the theme explored in Sadhguru's work remains relevant. Whether one approaches them from a spiritual, scientific, environmental or humanitarian perspective, they invite reflection on how individual and society can create a more sustainable future. Ultimately, Sadhguru's legacy will not be measured solely by the institution he established, the book he authored, the speeches he delivered, or the campaign he said. It will also be measured by the conversation he inspired, the question he encouraged people to ask about themselves, and the action taken by those who choose to apply the principle of awareness, responsibility, and care in their own life. His journey suggests that true transformation begins not with the changing the world directly, but with transforming the human being who inhabit it. From transformation, he proposes, can emerge a society that is more peaceful, compassionate, and capable of preserving a delicate balance of life on earth for generations to come. Please note that these are our personal reflection on the topic discussed today and not the definite conclusion of what Sadhguru shared us today. Please hit the like button and share this video to new people. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time. Thank you.